Good morning, everybody. This is Max Lucado. I'm just checking in with you, praying that you're holding up okay, praying that you're waking up with just a little bit more encouragement than despair, that you're sensing faith move in your heart, that you're able to climb out of bed and put one foot in front of the other. I know some days it's not easy. It's early in the morning here on this Monday that I'm recording this, and some days I don't sleep that well, so I just go ahead and climb out of bed and begin the day, and that's what I did today. And doing so with prayers and hope for you that the Lord will give you strength. Over these next few minutes in this check-in conversation, I would like to talk to you about the importance of managing your thoughts, Now, if this does not appeal to you, if it doesn't seem relevant to where you are today, God bless you, be about your day, go in grace. But if it does, we're going to take about, 7 or 8 minutes and talk about something that we really talk about in our online Bible study, and that is thought management. Thought management, essential to managing our thoughts, is the ability to stand guard over what thoughts we allow to come into our head and what thoughts we tell to leave. This is all a part of God's provision, His prescription for anxiety. Remember, He says, be anxious for nothing. But then a couple of verses later, He says, meditate on good things. As we learn to take anxiety out of our head, we have a vacant space there, and He calls upon us to fill that vacant space by meditating on good things. And then He has a long list of things upon which we can and should meditate. But the big point, the 30,000 foot altitude point of that teaching is we get to choose what we think about. We can pick what we ponder. We are not the victim of our thoughts. We are not the victim of our thoughts. Now, there's so many things in life that you didn't get to pick, right? You didn't get to pick where you were born. You didn't get to pick your DNA. You didn't get to pick your parents. You didn't get to pick your siblings. But you do get to pick this. You get to pick what you think about. You get to pick what you ponder. And just because you have a thought, that doesn't mean you have to think it. Just because you have a thought, that doesn't mean you have to think it. And wise is the person who learns to stand sentry over all of their thoughts and make them submit to the authority of Jesus Christ. That's why Proverbs 4 and verse 23 says, be careful what you think, because your thoughts run your life. Be careful what you think, because your thoughts run your life. I like to think of it like this. You can be the air traffic controller of your mental airport. You can be the air traffic controller of your mental airport. You occupy the control tower and you can direct the mental air traffic. And those thoughts that circle above, wanting to come in for a landing, you get to select the ones that you welcome, and you get to prevent the ones that you don't welcome. Thoughts of peace and hope and encouragement and faith, you can say, come in, and you signal for them to have free landing and unload their cargo. But those thoughts of bitterness or anger or fear or trepidation, you signal for them to leave, because you know that Satan has loaded them with stinky cargo, and you do not want that cargo to take up residence in your life. Remember, the process is simple. Thoughts come at us from the outside. They enter our ears, they go into our brains, and then if we do not check them, if we're not careful, they descend down into our hearts. Jesus said, it is out of the abundance of the heart that the mouth speaks. So if you find yourself speaking words of anxiety and fear and dread and essentially speaking evil over people, then you're allowing a lot of bad thoughts to come into your head. But those people who, we're drawn to them because their joy is so contagious, because their hope is so, we're drawn to that hope. We want to have that hope around us. We welcome them into our world. Well, folks, that's not by accident. That is because that person has made a deliberate decision to to receive more positive, more God-based thoughts in their lives than negative, fear-based thoughts. Now we can do this. We can do this. Now for some of us it means changing an old habit. It means rerouting the way we think. But each one of us can do this. That's why healing from anxiety can require this changing the way we think, changing our thought habit. Your challenge is your problem, yes, and what we're facing is a horrendous problem. But your challenge is, in addition, the way you face this problem. That's why Satan is always messing with our minds. He's always messing with our minds. He's always filling our sky with airplanes that carry nothing but difficult, impossible, fear, anxious thoughts. He's doing his best to convince us that releasing them into our head is harmless and natural. Folks, it's not harmless, and it's certainly not good for us. He comes as a thief, Jesus says, John 10 and verse 10, with the sole intention of stealing and killing and destroying. He brings only gloom and doom. He brings only gloom and doom. And by the time he was finished with Job, the man was sick and all alone. By the time he had done his work with Judas, that disciple had given up on life. The devil is to hope what termites are to an oak. He will eat us up from the inside. Don't let him do that to you. Just don't let him. Don't let him. Instead of allowing him to come into your life, you meditate on good things. You meditate on things that are God. Philippians 4, meditate on things that are God-based. Fix your thoughts on what is true and honorable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. Think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. The transliteration of this Greek word here is rendered logizomai. It sounds a bit like logic. Yes, the strongest weapon that we have is logical thinking. Logical thinking. Does it not make sense? Is it not logical that bringing negative, anxious thoughts into our mind will only create negative, anxious people? But bringing God-based, truth-filled, hopeful, encouraging words into our mind will turn us into better people. Now, I want you to think about how you need to do this. Some of you already do it exceptionally well. Others of us could use some practice. I've gotten where I just don't listen to much news. I get just enough to get the facts. But I don't really need everybody reminding me how terrible this situation is. I can see it. I can see it in the text messages, in the emails, and in your prayer requests. So I'm trying to counterbalance all of this negativity, all of this difficulty, all of this despair with healthy doses, welcome dollops of faith and encouragement. You see, God is the God who gets His people through things. He always has. And He always will. As quickly as we want, as easily as we want, seldom, but He does. He is a faithful God. He is a faithful God. And He is still master of the storm. So let your thoughts be more about Him. Let your thoughts be all about Him. Listen to worship music. Memorize scripture verses. Find some upbeat, encouraging teacher and listen to them. But just manage your thoughts. Be careful. Because the thoughts that you think today will bear fruit tomorrow. God bless you, friend. God bless you. Hang in there. Again, we have this free online Bible study based on my book, Anxious for Nothing. It's absolutely free. We've got 100 and I think the number I was given is 110,000 people going through it. So you're part of a great group determined to find ways to face the future with faith and not fear. I hope you'll join us. God bless you. I'll talk to you soon.